What's your I should have just lived with it story? The ants started showing up in May, just a few at first, marching across my kitchen counter like they owned the place. My wife Lisa kept telling me to call an exterminator, but I'm cheap. I bought those little ant traps from the hardware store. You know, the black plastic discs with poison inside. Set out 6 of them. The ants walked right past them like they weren't even there. By June, it was a full invasion. Every morning I'd come downstairs and find them streaming along the backsplash. I'd spray them with Windex, wipe them up with paper towels, and 2 hours later, they'd be back. Finally gave in and called EcoShield Pest Control. Guy named Dennis came out, sprayed everywhere, charged me $180, said we'd be ant-free in 48 hours. 3 days later, they were back. Dennis returned, didn't charge me for the second visit. This time he brought different chemicals, the serious stuff. He sprayed inside, outside, even up in the attic. He put down this powder that he said would destroy the whole colony when they carried it back. If this doesn't work, he said, you've got something weird going on. It didn't work. Over the next 2 weeks, I became obsessed. I followed their trail with a flashlight at 5 a.m. They always walked the exact same path, started at a specific spot on the kitchen wall near the floor, went up exactly 18 inches, then traveled horizontally along the backsplash to the sink. Never deviated, not once. I tried everything. Cinnamon, coffee grounds, vinegar, and diatomaceous earth. I caulked every crack I could find. I even removed a section of drywall to look inside the wall. Nothing. No nest, no moisture, no food source. But every morning, that same perfect line of ants. Lisa started joking that they were following a ghost highway. But after the third exterminator gave up, it wasn't funny anymore. My brother Rick is a contractor. He came over one Saturday to help me figure it out. We pulled out the dishwasher, the stove, even removed some cabinets. That's when Rick noticed something. Feel this, he said, putting his hand on the wall where the ants always started their trail. The wall was cold, not freezing, but noticeably colder than the rest of the kitchen. We went outside and found the spot on the exterior wall. Rick started digging down along the foundation with a shovel. About 2 feet down, he hit something that made him stop. There's your problem, he said. It was a crack in the foundation, maybe half an inch wide. The ants were coming up from underground, through the crack, then through a tiny gap between the foundation and the framing. Rick mixed up some hydraulic cement while I watched the ants, knowing their days were numbered. He troweled the cement into the crack, really working it in there. Then we sealed it from inside too, using foam insulation and caulk. That'll do it, Rick said. No way they're getting through that. He was right. The next morning, no ants. The morning after that, still nothing. Lisa actually baked cookies to celebrate. We had our kitchen back. I even wrote a positive review for Dennis at EcoShield, saying it wasn't his fault. Everything was perfect for about a week. Then Rick called me. His voice sounded strange. Tommy, you need to come outside. Bring a shovel. He was in my side yard, staring at the ground where we'd sealed the crack. The hydraulic cement had pushed back out. Not cracked or broken, pushed out, like something from below had forced it up. We started digging. Rick wanted to see how deep the crack went. Maybe pour a proper concrete footer. About 3 feet down, his shovel hit something hard. Not a rock. It made a different sound. A hollow sound. I got down in the hole with my hands and started brushing away dirt. It was concrete. Old concrete. With a weird texture. As I cleared more dirt, I saw something that made me scramble backward out of the hole. There were teeth embedded in the concrete. Human teeth. 4 of them in a row, like someone had been pressed face first into it when it was wet. Rick and I just stared at each other. I called the police. They sent 2 patrol officers first, then a detective. Then the detective called for a forensic team. By evening, my yard was full of people in white coveralls. They set up lights and started carefully excavating. The concrete was part of an old foundation. Detective Morrison showed me a map from 1932. My house, built in 1978, sat on the location of the Riverside State Hospital. It was one of those places where they sent people they didn't want to deal with. The mentally ill, the disabled, the inconvenient. It closed in 1954, Morrison said. Officially, all patients were transferred to other facilities. But as they kept digging, they found more teeth, then fragments of bone, then complete skeletons, laid out in rows. Some still had remnants of leather straps around their wrists. The archaeological team took over from the police. Dr. Patricia Vance from the State University led the excavation. Over 6 weeks, they found 89 bodies. The youngest was probably 7 years old, based on bone development. The oldest was in their 70s. The ants, Dr. Vance explained, were following old drainage pipes that ran beneath the bodies. The paths had been established for decades, maybe longer. They weren't coming for food in my kitchen. They were following routes that existed before my house was even built.